good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday evening Facebook Live. My name is Sarah Edwards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you guys live every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 to show you a fun new project. Whew, that's a mouthful to get out. So good evening. Hopefully you guys have had a great day. Steven is still in the hospital. Bo literally just got home like 2 minutes ago. I was in the house trying to feed the puppies so he could just take a shower, eat dinner, and relax. We haven't been eating very well. I think we've had tacos a couple nights because they're fast, cheap, and easy. And so I thought I would make him a nice, yummy dinner today. So hopefully he's eating and taking a shower and relaxing and probably heading to bed. And I'm not far behind him, I can assure you. So good evening, Heather. Good evening, Valerie. If you're just logging on, say hi so I know you're here. I actually got to stay home today. Yesterday was my hospital day. Bo took today, and we're going to kind of fluctuate for tomorrow. I'm going to do a little bit, and then he's going to come and relieve me because I have to work tomorrow evening. So just still keep him in your thoughts and prayers, please. We still don't have many answers, and it'll be 14 days of doing this. So, yeah, that's my life right now. But I do have a fun project for you. It's a very different and unique project that I want to show you guys, and it's more about the technique versus the sentiment and the stamp sets that I'm using. It's kind of just more a technique idea, and any stamp set would work with it. So I did bring in a couple to show you guys to play with to see which one you guys liked better, but hopefully you enjoy the technique. Thank you, Heather. Yes, I think you need it as well too. Yeah, it's been a struggle the last 2 weeks, but we are pulling through, and hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we'll be getting some answers soon. But anyway, on a crafting note, let me scoot you guys over and show you what we're going to be playing with today. So my idea was a pop of color. So I really, really love black and white things, and I really like black and white with a pop of color. So this is what I came up with today. This one I used the Here Together stamp sets, and I did it as a happy birthday. I wanted a smaller happy birthday just to go on the bottom, so I pulled in Days to Remember. I really liked this happy birthday, and I didn't have to mask it or I didn't have to cut my stamp because it was vertical, and that's what I wanted. So there's that one with a pop of color. And then I did this one using the Tasteful Touches stamp set. I just used the flower down here on the bottom. So the sentiment really isn't the focal point on this card and this idea. It's more the technique. And it's kind of a fun, different way to use up your designer series paper. So then I made 2 more. When I get an idea, I can't just stop at 2. So then I came up with these guys using a bit more color versus just the black and white. So on these 2, I did the black card base and just the pop of color underneath the pieces. And this one, I did the same coordinating color for the card base. So really, it's any way you want to do it. I love black and white with a pop of color, but then I loved these ones as well. And I just coordinated the same stamp sets as well. So this one is Melon Mambo. This one is Gorgeous Grape. This one is Pacific Point. This one is Daffodil Delight, I believe. That's Daffodil Delight. So first what we're going to do is show you. Oh, thank you, Vicki. Hello, Jessica, Stephanie, Vicki, Carol. Hello, everybody. So I brought in our black and white designer series paper. It is actually the All Together bundle. It comes with the stamp set and the die and the black and white paper. So I really just kind of picked 2 patterns that I liked. I tried to get one that was more black than white, and then one that was more white than black, just to kind of play with this design. So what I want to do is I'm going to bring in this piece, and I want to grab my trimmer. Sorry, I forgot to pull it out from under my desk. And I want to show you guys how to cut this. I did put the description before I went live, but I wanted to cut one sheet just to show you what I'm talking about. I've already got one sheet cut. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and cut it at the 3-inch mark. And we can get 5 cards out of one sheet of this paper. So now that I have our 3-inch by 6-inch, I'm going to cut 4 pieces at a 1/2 inch. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm pretty sure I didn't have to count that out loud, but I did anyways. And then we're going to cut the rest of them at 1-inch strips. So 1 inch, 1 inch. Pretty sure you guys know how to do this, but it's always fun to cut paper in front of friends. And your other piece you're going to cut at 1-inch strips also. Oh, yes, Vicki, it definitely does mess with your eyes. It took me a second. I'm like, what is she talking about? But yeah, that paper does mess with your eyeballs. Okay, so I cut the other piece at 1 inch. So now what you're going to be left with are 10 pieces that are 1 inch. Let me get this out of the way. So you're going to be left with 10 pieces that are 1 inch by 3 inches and 4 pieces that are 3 inches by 1/2 inch. And I've already cut the other side, the other one as well. So we're using 2 different pieces. So I'm just going to set these aside for a second, and I'm going to bring in some of our card base. So I don't know if you noticed, you probably didn't because I didn't specify it. Let me pull this up to the camera a little bit closer. So this is the original one that I made, and I really liked the basic white underneath it, but I thought it kind of needed a little bit of pizzazz, so I used the embossing folder, and you could really use any embossing folder that you have just to give it a little bit of texture on the back. And I think it did kind of make this card pop a little bit better. So I went ahead and ran through all of our basic white pieces, and this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then I brought in some basic black. This is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and I scored it at 4 1/4. So I'm going to set those aside. And then let's bring in the other pieces. These are all scraps. I did not cut any piece of cardstock to create this card. I just went into my scrap pile, and these are 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And as you can see, there's a hole in the middle of all of that. I did it in advance because I didn't want to forget and not punch the circle punches, because I'm using part of the inside for this layering piece on the outside. You can't even tell that I popped it out of the bottom, but I didn't want to forget, so I did that ahead of time. And we have stopped selling the circle punches, but if you have them, totally use them. We do have the circle layering dies that work just as well, but I just pulled out my circle punches. So I have all the 4 colors that we're going to be playing with tonight. Hopefully we get enough time to do them all. And then I have 4 pieces of basic white, and this is 2 1/2 by 5. So we're going to start with just one, and I think I want to do Granny Apple Green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in 2 of each of your 1-inch strips, and then 1 piece or 2 of your 1/2 inch strips. So I am going to just lay these sideways just so I can kind of eyeball it a little bit better. You're going to grab some of your liquid glue. I did use mini glue dots and it worked, but I just kind of liked the green glue a little bit better. So now you just need to figure out which one's going to go on top, which one's going to go on bottom, which it's really not a big deal. I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive. I don't know if you can see that. Let me scoot this up. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the edge, and I'm going to offset this white piece on top. So what we're going to do is, there we go. So we're going to put corner to corner. And just press that. And I'm going to do the same thing for this piece. So So I'm going to put some adhesive right in the center. And I put it long, kind of sideways, because this piece is going to go sideways on top. So there's those two pieces. So I'm going to pull those apart just so I can bring in our little piece. So our little piece, the lighter one is going to go on bottom, and this one is going to go on top. So it's just doing the opposites. So there we go. So looking at this card, you literally probably would never know that that's how those pieces went together. And it was super easy. It did take a tiny bit of brain power in the beginning, but once I did the one, it was super easy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and put some adhesive on the back, and I just want to make sure to get the adhesive on this top piece, just so it doesn't lift up. So now I'm going to take this corner, and I'm going to put it right down at the bottom. Let me pick that up. So hopefully you can see I just put the corner to the corner. And I probably should grab my silicone mats and put this underneath, just in case, like last time, I got adhesive on my workstation. And I was not happy with myself because my silicone mat sits right beside my Facebook Live table, and it's super duper easy to use. So now I'm going to take this corner, and I'm going to tuck it up right up top. Now our last piece, let's flip it over, put some adhesive on the back, and I'm going to put this right in the center. It's just a different and fun way to use your designer series paper and get lots of cards out of 2 sheets. Okay, I'm going to set that aside just so it can dry a hair, because we got to trim that up a little bit. So I'm going to bring in my circle. This one is the 2-inch circle, and I want to bring in my Granny Apple Green. Let's do a Granny Apple Green flower. So I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to kind of stamp it. How did I do this one? I'm going to stamp it pretty much in the center. When I did the hearts, I pushed it up a little bit so I could stamp my sentiment underneath. But I think this one, I might just stamp it right in the middle. It is a little bit of magic, Jessica. Okay, I wanted to clean that in case we use it again, that I don't cross-contaminate my inks. So now I'm going to bring in the mementos. And I have my happy birthday. Ink this up. And I actually think I'm just going to go right in the center. Perfect. It is really cute, and it's very simple. As long as you can get your cutting measurements down, which is super easy, these cards go together pretty quickly. Put some adhesive on the back. We're going to layer this, and I'll set that aside, bring this in. It's definitely dry enough to do some trimming. And I do have a pair of our paper snips that I've actually used with glue. Can you guys imagine? I had to use some really sharp scissors to do some of the retreat pillow gifts. So now I need to figure out a way to mark my paper snips that I can use it with glue. But I left them over on my table. So we're gonna just bring in these little crafting kid scissors, because I don't want to ink up another pair of good scissors. So I just flipped this over and I trimmed off the edges, and we will get lots of shrapnel, definitely. I'll try to get it out of the way just so it's not confusing. Okay, hopefully I don't drop it before I hit the trash, and I didn't. So now what I'm going to do, oh, I missed a piece, is I am going to attach this piece first. Because when you run your cardstock through the embossing machine, it kind of shrinks it up a tad bit. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that, that your layers don't quite fit perfectly. It's because it has to kind of squish your paper to get the design you want. So it's not a very big difference, and honestly, oh, actually this one you really can't even tell. But I'm just gonna come in and trim off the bottom piece. Just a hair. My other ones were a lot more, so that's why I did that. That one actually wasn't even tragic. I probably didn't even have to do that. So now that that's done, let's go ahead and glue this down. Good evening, Darlene. There's that. Let's set that aside and bring in our card base. We're gonna fold it and give it a nice good crease. And now we can just attach. There we go. Black and white with a pop of color. And I love all of our colors. I always say that. I don't know if I have, I mean, pink is my favorite. I won't lie. I do love pink. But the Granny Apple Green is amazing too. They do knock it out of the ballpark when it comes to the colors they choose. So on the original cards that I did, I put 2 in the center. This one actually went up top because I accidentally got some adhesive on one of these pieces that it wasn't going to cover, so I put that one on top. This one, I might have just put it down on the bottom, but I could have gotten adhesive on the bottom as well. So it doesn't matter where your sentiment goes. Wherever your heart desires, you can put it off to the side so it shows a little bit more of your technique. You could put it in the center, and I think I want to put that down closer to the bottom. There we go. Super cute and definitely different, and it's more of a technique versus the image that you use for this Facebook Live. So let's do another one. I don't use just jade very often, so I thought, let's do one with just jade. So again, we're gonna bring in 2 of our 1-inch strips and just 1 set of our 1/2 inch strip. So that one I did the more black on the bottom, so we're going to do the more black on top. So this is the most confusing part. So it's the top left corner. Let me see if you guys can see this. So it's the top left corner goes in the bottom left corner. And that's how you're going to get your perfect, it's not really an X. I don't know what it is. We're just going to pretend that I know what it is. So bottom top corner goes to the bottom left corner. There we go. And I should have brought my silicone mat in to do all of this. So this one's going to be the opposite. So we're going to put adhesive on there. There we go. And you could really change these up with all the designer series paper. You know how like one side of a designer series paper is a little bit more elaborate than the other side? You could definitely use that. But I just wanted to showcase something using the 6x6 paper in a fun new way. So put some adhesive on here. We're gonna come and we're gonna put these 2 corners right at the tip. And it lines up so these guys are up here at the top as well. And I like to work from top to bottom or bottom to top, it doesn't really matter, but leaving the center for the last, just so you can make sure to kind of get it even. Adhesive. There we go. Perfect. Let's set that aside. Let's grab our circle and let's do the hearts and hands. And we want, oh, just jade. I just put the stamp on top of it. Let's do the just jade. And this one I went up a little bit higher so I could stamp the happy birthday right underneath. And I think I might just use the same just jade. Let me clean the stamp off. I think I'm just going to do the same just jade in for the sentiment. if you can see, but I got some ink on my silicone mat, and it's totally okay because just grab a wipe and it comes right off. And it's the same with the glue. So that's why I like using the silicone mat, is if you get glue on this, it literally dries and rubs right off. It doesn't stick to it or anything. It's super nice. So let's flip this over. I'll try to get all of the shrapnel on the silicone mat, so I just have to pick the mat up and dust it in the trash. We'll see if it works. I do like to wait a couple seconds for all of the adhesive to attach to this because there's a few different layers and you don't want it to accidentally move on you. Here we go. So now, throw that in the trash and no more shrapnel. Okay, so let's bring in our basic whites and let's see if this one's gonna hang off. As soon as I say, oh no, we're totally fine, it's not gonna hang off, you know it's going to. Never fails, it always happens on a live. That or it's gonna call my bluff and it's not even gonna hang off any of them. One or the other. Yeah, that's actually not tragic either. I'm not even gonna worry about that one. It's so crazy because a couple of the other ones hung off a little bit more than I wanted. Oh, thank you, Jessica. And literally, I took the circle and I punched it out of here. You're never even going to see it once we put this layering piece on. And it's not that I was trying to waste paper or not worry about wasting paper. I just didn't, I guess I was lazy and didn't want to walk over to my container to find another piece to cut. So I guess it's just laziness. Not that I'm trying to save it on paper. I was doing some of the retreat pillow gifts and I was talking to one of my girlfriends on the phone and I realized that I glued everything. Oh, I bet that's one of my children. Hold that thought for 1 second. No, I don't know who it was. I glued all of the paper to the wrong side and I was not happy. And she was like, it's just paper. Don't even worry about it. And I'm like, oh, you are so right. So it even happens to me. Flip this over, add some dimensionals. Hopefully I didn't answer that on accident and somebody is listening to me go live. Oh, it was Natalie. But no, she must have hung up because she realized I was on my live. Okay, peel those off. There we go. Super cute and so different and just fun. Just something whimsical and out of the blue, and I love doing stuff like this. Okay, do we have time to do another one? Oh, let's do it. If we don't get it all done, we'll do the Magenta Madness. It's one of my favorite colors. Well, it's just because it's pink. And I want to do the black on the bottom. So I'm gonna do this quickly. So let's make sure I remember how to do it. That one. This is probably the most where you have to pay attention is which way to put these on. Hey, I didn't even have to think on that one. There we go. Oh yes, you are right, Jessica. There's always time for pink. Okay. Flip this over. And I think I want to do the flower. Let's do the flower in the magenta, or yeah, this one's Magenta Madness. We all could use some pink flowers right now. Put a smile on our face. There we go. I decided to do pork chops for dinner. So I actually haven't even eaten either. So once we get done with the live, I'm sure Bo will have already eaten and is probably already laying in bed. I am going to eat and probably join him. We are definitely a little sleepy. There we go. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely gorgeous. I really hope that color pops through the video as much as it pops here. That is so fun. Okay, I'm gonna grab the black, and I actually think I'm just going to put it on the flower, just like I did on the other one. So cute, so pretty. Okay, let's put this together. Oh, you can see I got a little bit of ink on my silicone mats. Let me grab my baby wipe and wipe that off. If you guys don't have a silicone mat, they're not very expensive. I think they're $5 or $6. And they definitely are a game changer. You know what I should do is how to do a reverse image. You actually use your silicone mat for reverse images. So maybe I'll do something like that on Thursday. I haven't done one in a long time. And if you don't know what that means is, so let's just say you have the ladybug and you want the ladybug facing a different direction. You would stamp it on your silicone mat and then flip your mat over on a piece of paper and rub it. That's very cool. You know what? I will try to do that on Thursday. Why not? Since I'm talking about it, we should try it. We'll see if it works first. Okay, almost done. And this one didn't hang off either. Oh, well, good thing I said something, Jessica. We will totally do that. It is fun, and it works really good if you're like scrapbooking and you want the same image on the other side of your paper. It's pretty cool. Okay, grab some dimensionals. Put that on there. Hello, Marie. I just saw you logged on. Let's put this one down there. Perfect. Grab our card base, and I will go back in and add our basic white to the inside so we have somewhere to write our sentiments. But for the Facebook Live, I decided to skip that, but I will go back and do that. Okay, so there we go. And we still have enough to do 2 more cards with all of our goodies over here. So there we go. Let me get all this out of the way, and I'll scooch it back a hair just so you can see all the fun cards that we did. Okay, so Magenta Madness. This one is Just Jade, Granny Apple Green, Gorgeous Grape, Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight, and Pacific Point. Took me a minute. So it's not really technically about the center images that I used. It was more about the technique on how to get this fun design on your cards. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's live. Perfect. We're literally at 7:30 on the nose. So that was great timing. I'm going to go ahead in and spend a little bit of time with my husband. We've literally been playing just tag the entire last 2 weeks. So maybe we'll sit and chit chat, or he might be sleeping already. Who knows? So I might be right back out here. But anyway, if you need anything, please feel free to reach out. If not, I will see everybody on Thursday for another live. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.